Right, so yes, I'm a first-year student studying product design at Brunel, and I'm a mature student, so effectively starting a second career, coming back to university after having spent several years doing something very different. So I'm just going to share a few thoughts with you, really, reflecting on my first year at Brunel and experience from before that as well. So basically my background is HR management, and I was responsible for things like recruitment, learning and development, organisational design, supporting management development and basically helping organisations become more effective through their people. And I generally worked in the not-for-profit sector, usually for charities that supported people with disabilities, either physical or mental health-related disabilities. And I'll speak briefly about the couple of organisations I worked for more recently. United Response is a large charity that supports people with learning disabilities around the country and provides services to thousands of people of all ages, and basically to help them gain skills, some level of independence, often using equipment that's been specially adapted in addition to staff support. And of course, guide dogs. This is a guide dog puppy at a very early stage of development, but about 12 to 16 months of intensive training would go into developing this puppy into a highly skilled, highly trained dog that would support somebody who was blind or visually impaired. But guide dogs wasn't just about providing guide dogs. They also provided support to the general population around partially sighted and blind people, white cane training, helping people develop confidence and skills, and also working with the government and other companies to help them think about products and services for the blind and partially sighted. I suppose throughout my career and even now, I sort of, this question of what is normal occurs to me. And I looked it up in the dictionary, and I'll just read out the definition. It says, conforming to what is standard or usual, free from mental or emotional disorder. And we often talk about designing for the normal everyday person, and you wonder who that is these days. This is Dave Healy, who's one of 3 people who've run 7 marathons across 7 continents in 7 days. Quite an extraordinary achievement for even any able-bodied human being. Sir Ralph Fiennes was one of the other 2 people that have done it. And this is just an image of a wheelchair-bound rambler, somebody who loves the countryside. Why shouldn't they be able to go out rambling? And I guess, both those images are raising questions about what is normal. And I've spoken largely about disability, but another issue close to my heart is age. And we all know the population is ageing, and I think we need reminding that in 11 years' time, just 11 years, it's around the corner. Half the population are going to be over the age of 50, and yet so many organisations just aren't taking it seriously in the way that they're designing products and services. This is an image of my grandmother on the left and my mother. My grandmother has just turned 90, and my mother's 70 there. My grandmother really wanted to go to India this year. As a sort of a last trip, and I agreed to take her, and we flew with Virgin Atlantic, and this is how Virgin Atlantic present themselves, very sort of sexy, glamorous kind of image. They're not promoting themselves to a 90-year-old great-grandmother, and yet, ironically, they provided the best level of service and comfort and support that we needed to make that journey possible. So I think they're kind of missing a trick, really. And this is a quote from a publication that's been around for quite a few years from the Design Council, Living Longer, I think it's called. And I've only recently read it, I have to confess, but I'm sure many people are familiar with it. But a lot of the issues that I read there are still relevant today, and I wonder why we still haven't been able to address the issues. This is another project that's directed at the young and trendy, and I actually bought my mother this camera for her 70th birthday last year. It's not the easiest camera for a first-time digital camera user, and certainly not one that's 70 years old. But it was beautiful, and it's taken her a while to get used to using it, but she loves it, and it fits in her handbag. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, why can't we think about design being attractive and desirable as well as usable and functional and able to reduce dependency? So there's issues there for us. The next slide is about Lifetime Homes. This was an organisation I worked for very early on in my career, a housing association that worked with the Helen Hamlin Trust at the RCA and developed a concept of 16 principles of designing building, which, if applied to a new build home, would make that house immediately accessible to the disabled, but also easily adaptable to people with changing needs as they grew older. And quite interestingly, the Helen Hamlin Trust continues to work in partnership with charities. And these two images, this one and the next one that follows, are work of one particular designer who's worked with the Leonard Cheshire charity, a really big, well-respected disability charity, and produced some workstation-related furniture for the disabled. I'm just going to finish with a couple of images from the project that we finished within our first year at Brunel. It was called Design Bugs Out, and it was actually a live competition which general designers were involved in. And this example and the one that follows are actual design, the competition winners. This is a bedside chair, and the top right-hand corner is the commode. And the design was basically to reduce infection and improve cleanliness in hospital equipment design. And at the bottom there, you've got an example of first-year design and the team that I was involved with in the concept that we came up with for the commode design. And I wanted to finish with that just very finally, just to sort of say that it was really interesting because Brunel is also encouraging students, I think, to think outside their comfort zones and to design beyond their age group and their own ability. Thank you.